When I found out I was going to be a parent, I immediately felt a lot of anxiety and worry. So I went on to BetterHelp to try to look for a therapist to help me with that.
My relationship with my family and with my boyfriend and with myself were suffering. I really needed help.
I was ruminating a lot. Really getting those thoughts out to a therapist and getting feedback was just life-changing.
Discover what BetterHelp Online Therapy can do for you. Visit BetterHelp.com today.
Welcome to the Instagram stories for Friday, November 19th. Not a lot of Instagram news today, but there was a story last week that somehow I just didn't have time to cover, and I want to go back to it. Instagram is offering to pay bonuses for creators to make content for Reels. You may have seen the stories in the news, other places. What's really interesting is creators who are being offered money for their Reels have to reach certain milestones in terms of views in order to get the payouts. And the payouts are entirely different for everyone. Some of the payouts actually seem pretty good, but you'd have to get millions and millions of views in order to make that money. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's a lot more involved than you'd think. For instance, one Reddit user was offered up to $35,000 for 58 million views in a month. That is a crazy amount of views. You can't really guarantee that any post that you make will go viral, even if you have a great audience. So 58 million views in a 30-day window is a very, very big number. What's interesting is people who have less followers are getting the same offer for money that people with more followers are getting. For instance, one user with 800 Instagram followers got an offer for $8,500, which is the same offer that a creator with 24,000 followers got. Another user with 59,000 followers said they were offered an $850 bonus. Seems like the payments are all over the map. Here's the official quote from Instagram. We're continuing to test payments as we roll out to more creators and expect them to fluctuate while we're still getting started. We've designed bonuses so that we can help as many creators as we can in a way that is achievable and drives meaningful earnings. Our goal is for bonuses to become more personalized over time. End quote. I am not part of this program, but let me tell you that if I was, I would look at the amount of time it would take me to create those reels and decide if it was worth my time. It might be worth it from an audience growth perspective for what you might leverage, or you might decide the money that Instagram is paying for reels to be created and get this certain number of views is worth it. I think that's up to each individual person to determine. But we also know that Instagram is making billions and billions of dollars from ad revenue, so sharing that with creators doesn't seem like it should be that complicated. And now let's get into Feature Friday, where we talk about a feature of the Instagram app that you forgot about or maybe didn't know existed. This is actually a new one for me. It comes from listener Anna Hartley, who pointed it out to me, and I never knew this existed. Okay, say you are typing some text on a story and you want to add a GIF. What do you do normally? You have to go up to the toolbar, search for the GIF that you want, and put it on the image. If you try to use your own keyboard in order to find a GIF from your keyboard's menu, Instagram will tell you that you are not allowed to use GIFs from that place, and you could only use GIFs from their source. Well, now that's changed. You have the opportunity to actually search for a GIF within your own keyboard GIF search, which means that you may have access to completely different GIFs. In my case, I will say that I created my own GIF on Giphy, and so it's searchable through the Instagram menu, but maybe you created one or there's one that you really like that's in the keyboard GIF shortcut menu. As of right now, this seems to only be working on Android. You might have a different experience. If you do, please let me know. Shout out to Anna for finding this cool feature. That's going to do it for today's show. Come back on Monday for Instagram news, strategy, tips, and more. On Monday, we review what head of Instagram Adam Mosseri talked about on his Ask Me Anything. Have a great weekend, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks at Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently until Zuck returns my DMs and starts to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacies. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.
Quick side note, I'm thinking about bringing back the weekend show. Full disclosure, now that it's cold and I have less places to go, I'm spending more time inside podcasting, and I'd like to do something more interesting for the weekend show. I did Q&A in the past. I'm thinking about potentially bringing back Q&A, but I'd also like to do something where it's interactive, perhaps with one of you listeners who wants to come on the show but maybe doesn't want to carry the entire episode on your own. Maybe we talk about a specific feature of Instagram or a thing you like in a short 5-minute clip. I was also thinking maybe I could collaborate with another flash briefing creator who talks in the social media or technology space, and maybe we could have a joint episode of some kind. If you have someone in mind who you think would be cool for that, let me know. Send me a DM at Daniel Hill Media. I'd love to get some ideas on how I can improve and make a good weekend show.